Vegan recipes with Pat and Emily.
On today's It's Vegan, I'm going to show you how to make vegan lasagna. A few weeks ago, Prime Prodigy asked if we would put together a recipe for lasagna. So Emily and I put our heads together, we've done some testing, and we've come up with a winning vegan lasagna. First off, I gather my ingredients, and then I'm going to prepare them. While I'm boiling my noodles, I will be chopping up my spinach and my mushrooms. I will saute the mushrooms until they are browned and dry. Also, I will be browning and crumbling one of the burger patties from Incognito. The mushrooms are chopped and they're going into a skillet now. I wanted to show you what's happening at the stove. I am browning the vegan burger, and I have seasoned it with onion powder, garlic powder, Italian seasoning, salt, pepper, and I added a little bit of browning and seasoning sauce. So I add a little bit of water to loosen the vegan burger, and that browning sauce will help it look cooked. These vegan burgers sometimes do not get a fully browned look. Now with the mushrooms, I am dry sauteing them, and again, they have salt and pepper on them as well. And if I need to, I'll add a tad of water just to loosen it up a bit. I want you to see I added a tiny bit of water to the bottom of the pan that has the vegan meat in, and I'm going to cover it now and let that heat and water deglaze the bottom of the skillet so the flavor stays in. I wanted to show you that the mushrooms have deglazed very nicely. I wanted you to see it on camera because sometimes you see something online and you're not sure if it will really work. So I wanted to show you it did. Here is our vegan meat, and again, it did deglaze off the pan. At this point, I think you should taste your vegan meat and also your mushrooms. Make sure they're seasoned the way that you would like them to be seasoned. Also, sometimes I can't find the vegan ingredients that I'm looking for. I'm using that Incognito by Morningstar burger. However, sometimes I can find vegan sausage, which I actually prefer. Moving right along, this is going to be our ricotta mixture, and I'm using Tofutti sour cream. I'm also using From the Heart Pizzeria blend cheese shreds, and these particular shreds are a mixture of Parmesan cheese and mozzarella, of course all vegan. If you're able to find the ricotta vegan cheese, I would use that and use the same quantity that I've used sour cream. Also, I have given you in the written recipe a cream sauce that you could make and use instead of the vegan sour cream or the vegan ricotta, just in case you can't find it. We've tested the recipe using that cream sauce and it's pretty good. However, I do prefer the sour cream or the ricotta. I've also got parsley in here, an egg substitute. If you're making a traditional lasagna, many times they're calling for egg in with the ricotta. I think that the egg replacer in here just helps bind this all together. Again, you can be flexible. If you cannot find an egg replacer, you could also just use a little bit of tapioca flour. You could use a little bit of cornstarch, a little bit of flour, just to help bind this together and keep this from becoming watery. So I'm just mixing it up. I want to make sure it's mixed well. You could taste this also and make sure the seasoning's what you like. I do find that usually the vegan products have plenty of salt in them, and this to me just tastes fine the way it is. Our lasagna is going to have 4 layers with filling. So what I do is on all of these ingredients, I actually divide it in 4. So that when I'm making my lasagna layers, I know that I'm getting it evenly spread out. I'm going to do the same thing with the mushrooms. It just helps you spread out the ingredients properly. And I will do the same thing with the vegan meat. This looks like a good bit of meat. Not sure that I'll even use all of it. It's time to start putting that lasagna together. The dish that I'm working with is about 7.5 by 7.5. I do sometimes make an individual serve. This one's about a 3-inch square. I will put those quantities in the printed recipe. So to start with, We're going to put sauce on the bottom. And when I have lasagna, I like to have some extra sauce around for when I'm serving it. So you might want to just keep a little extra sauce handy. So there's my first noodle. These noodles were cut in half and cooked according to the package instructions. This much the vegan ricotta will go on that half, and this much will go on this half. Off camera, I have a little bowl with water in it because I will be washing my hands a lot as I'm putting this together. Just take your time. Try to get your ricotta spread out pretty evenly. And when we're done putting this all together, we will press down the layers to also pack it a little bit. So when I'm cooking, I wash my hands numerous times. Those two pieces aren't exactly even with ricotta. I just grabbed a little bit. And I can tell I'm not probably going to use all the vegan meat. But we'll see. I might. Oh, it looks like I will. That doesn't look too bad to me. So these are the mushrooms. It's the mushroom layer. Mushrooms and spinach could be optional. The vegan meat could be optional. You know, I would think about making this recipe using a long noodle and just making a lasagna roll up. Now we're going to put a little bit of sauce. I don't want to go too crazy with sauce in the middle. I'm cleaning off the edge of my dish because that could make a big mess. Now I'm starting to make the second layer of filling. It all starts with the noodle. I'm pressing it down a little bit, pressing that down a little bit. And it's time for the vegan cheese. I can't wait for you to try this recipe and let me know what you think. Again, I'm rinsing my hands. It's the vegan meat layer. It's always fun to come up with a new recipe. Now we're going to put spinach. As you can see, my casserole dish has room for the sauce to bubble up without overflowing. However, take a look at your dish, and if you think that it might overflow, before you cover it with the foil, place it on a cookie sheet. I'm now starting the third layer of noodle and filling. I'm now putting a portion of the vegan ricotta cheese on each of the noodles. Try and get a little bit of cheese there. Now I'm adding the vegan crumbles. I will be spreading it out as evenly as I can. Now when Emily was testing this recipe, she made it the night before and baked it the next day. And she said her results were just fine. You may want to do that as well. If you're having company, you could prepare the night before. Well, it looks like I didn't put the mushrooms underneath there on that side. I'll just put the extra on this layer. If you happen to do that, just put them on the next layer or on top. It's time to start the next layer of the spinach. This spinach is going to shrink down, you know, because it's fresh spinach. Whoops, almost forgot the sauce. This is the final layer of filling. Put your noodle on, pat down the layers a little bit. This much vegan ricotta on this side, and I will put the same amount on the other side. Here I am spreading the vegan ricotta cheese mixture. Here you see I am spreading the vegan crumbles. Now I'm adding the spinach. I decided I'm going to save the last mushrooms that I have to garnish the top with when it comes out of the oven. So this layer is not getting mushrooms. I'm going to put sauce on the spinach. I'm going to firmly press this down just to even it out. And this also helps compact the layers. Now this part of the sauce, I want to make sure that the top noodles are completely covered. When I was testing the recipe, I tried noodles that did not need pre-boiled. And what I found was it ended up making this type of lasagna mushy. So I'm going to caution you not to do that. Clean your dish. Now it's going to get covered and baked in a 375 degree oven. The lasagna is finished baking for the first time, covered. So that's what it's going to look like. And what I want to do right now is garnish it with some of those mushrooms that were left over. Well, not left over, but garnish it with some of those mushrooms that I reserved. Then I've got a little bit of vegan cheese left. This is being returned to the oven for about 10 minutes. And next, sprinkle of dried parsley. It's still not ready to eat. Cover it again with that foil and let it sit another 10 minutes before you serve it. It's finally time to serve the lasagna. I have some hot sauce that I'm going to just put at the bottom of my plate. Okay, for the tricky part, getting it out. Oh, look, that came out so beautiful. Okay, it's time for the fun part, tasting it. Get a little bit extra sauce there. You can see how delicious this looks. It's really a delicious lasagna. Please give it a try. We would just love for you to like and share our videos and to also subscribe to our channel. God bless you. Thanks for stopping by. By the way, thanks Prime Prodigy for asking us to develop a recipe for you. Please let us know what you think about it.